What have you been watching, dude? What have you been doing with your life outside of this?
The most recent film I watched was Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. It was not the first time that I'd seen it.
The David Fincher one.
Yeah, it was remade pretty closely after the first one came out, I think, as well, wasn't it? So yeah, 2011 the film came out. I don't think I've probably seen it since then. And I remember enjoying it back then. Watched it again a few days ago, and such a good film. I think just David Fincher in general just makes the best thrillers. They're such well-made movies. His cinematography and his editing with all his films, they're so seamless, and you get really lost in the world and everything feels so real. I think he's like one of the best filmmakers alive.
Totally. Yeah, I love the look of his movies.
Yeah, it could be such a simple sequence of just two people sitting in a room having a conversation for like 10-15 minutes, and just the way he frames everything, and it's just so engaging. He's so good at ratcheting up the tension. Yeah, this was a really, really great classic kind of murder mystery thriller.
Daniel Craig is also really good in it, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, he's a fantastic performance. Obviously, like the star of the show is Rooney Mara, who plays Lisbeth Salander in it, the hacker. Yeah, her performance is amazing. And yes, I mean, stellar cast of Stellan Skarsgård, Christopher Plummer, all playing this eccentric, rich family in Sweden who have hired Mikael Blomkvist, who's Daniel Craig's character, who's a bit of a disgraced journalist, to help them solve the mystery of a woman who's one of the daughters of the wealthy family who's been missing for 40 years on this very small, isolated island. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's well worth a watch.
Yeah, it's really good. And the, original movie and book are also worth your time. Noomi Rapace plays Lisbeth Salander in the original, which was also really good. It doesn't have the style of David Fincher movie, which, I would say, start with the David Fincher one just because it's incredible filmmaking, while the original is more traditional. It's not as bombastic, I guess. The American remakes are always more spectacle. In this case, there's also a lot of substance. It's not like other remakes, which are just subpar adaptations.
Yeah, it probably had a lot more money as well, so it looks like a lot better, a bigger production. And yeah, like I said, it's not just, it's incredibly stylish, but it's still there's a lot of substance to it too.
Yeah, totally. I am kind of like disappointed they didn't really continue the series because, there's a bunch of books from Stieg Larsson and his son, I think, with these characters.
Yeah, I think it's a trilogy of books.
Yeah. So,
and I know they did a trilogy of the Swedish films, but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they never did another. Fincher definitely didn't do one anyway, did they? Did they do an American sequel to that?
I don't believe they did. No, they didn't. I don't see a sequel anywhere.
No, and perhaps it didn't do great box office wise. But yeah, definitely like one of those films that I put back on and wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was.
The Girl in the Spider Web.
Yes.
But it does different actress, different everything, so yeah, as expected. Claire Foy. Okay. I didn't know.
Who plays Lisbeth Salander?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Stephen Merchant is in this? Jesus Christ. Lakeith Stanfield? I need to watch this. What the fuck?
Claire Foy seems like a weird casting for that role.
Yeah, she doesn't look the part at all. Weird hair too, but she had weird hair in the original too, so anyway, yeah, great movie. So if you haven't seen it, definitely recommended by both hosts, which is rare, especially in this episode where we've disagreed about everything. So good to agree on something, that this movie is good. I watched for the first time on Prime Late Night with the Devil, which was really fun.
Yep.
Really cool.
Very good film. Saw it at the cinema.
You saw it in the cinema. I don't think they had a cinematic release here, unfortunately. I watched it on TV. It was really fun. It's a low-budget horror film. Kind of has a little bit of a B-movie vibe, but in a very good way. It stars David Dastmalchian. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
Nice. He plays this TV host in the late 70s. His late night show, is not doing super well. He has some tragedy in his life that I won't go into in case you would want to watch this. So yeah, he decides to host a Halloween special episode, inviting a bunch of different, weird characters on the show, trying to capture the magic of all seasons of the show and trying everything you can to remain on air. But one of the guests of this late night Halloween special is a possessed girl and her doctor. And let's just say that things go a little bit weird and horror-like in the film. So great performance by the guy.
Yeah, good to see him in like a starring role. I think I've only ever seen him in as like a side character in something, but he's always really good.
He was the polka dot man in the second Suicide Squad movie, the James Gunn directed one.
Do you know the other comic book film that he was in? He had a very small appearance in it.
It was in The Dark Knight, wasn't he?
He was the crazy guy.
Yeah, he's the guy who shoots Gordon.
Yeah, and then gets like sort of interrogated by Batman. I'm pretty sure that was his first role, actually.
Yeah, he has that creepy face. He can be creepy, but he's very charming in this, which I found really surprising because he does play weird characters usually. So, seeing him in the role of
charismatic TV host.
Yeah, it was a bit surprising, but he nailed it.
It worked.
And the off-kilter vibe that he lets out, it does work in favor of the character in certain specific moments. So yeah, really good, really fun, a bit campy, especially towards the end.
Oh yeah.
But really recommend this movie. It's a breezy watch, an hour and a half. It's all shot as if it was found footage from this lost Halloween special. There's a little bit of a
almost
documentary style intro at the beginning.
Almost all shot like that.
Yeah, well, don't spoil it. So there's an intro that is like documentary style, presenting this new look at this weird moment.
Black and white behind the scenes footage, isn't it? Spliced
they go from classic, and they have a little bit of a VHS filter, the aspect ratio of an old 70s TV show, but they don't go all the way, which I found a little bit annoying. Like they could have made it even more grimy and worn out. It's just a little bit of a filter.
Yeah, and maybe had some cuts away to like the TV feed, like going off air or broadcast or something like that, and just having static.
It doesn't really feel like old footage. It's just an aesthetic choice, which I understand. You want to sell this movie not only to weirdos like me.
And then also there's some like very cinematic sort of moments in it as well that are seeped in, which are completely out of the aesthetic of the behind the scenes and the TV show. So it breaks that reality completely throughout the film. And I think it does it in moments that require it. They're quite like pinnacle moments of the story when we go outside. So I didn't mind it.
No, me neither.
But like you said, I think it could have been maybe even more of a unique film if it had kept to that style the whole way through.
I understand the necessity of changing it up and showing stuff that wouldn't necessarily have been recorded at the time for the sake of the story. It's understandable, but maybe they could have found an interesting and creative way to work around that and show different things or like reenactments. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, really fun, really interesting, original. I loved almost everything about it. The ending goes hard in the camp, which, I wasn't necessarily expecting, but it works for the most part. Some of the effects are a little bit weird, but definitely I recommend if you love horror, if you like original movies, great performances all around.
Yeah, it's actually a shame with that final sequence. Well, I won't spoil anything, but it's a shame because I've seen some behind the scenes and it's like most of it's done practically.
Yeah.
Some big thing this on somebody's head that opens up and it's like that's all done practically, but they add all these like visual effects CGI elements around it which kind of spoil the effect a bit.
Why do we always do it? They always do it.
I know.
They have a nice practical effect and they just put CGI on top and it just doesn't work anymore.
And it initially looked really good, but yeah, I think actually the film worked better almost as a dark comedy, more of a satire than a horror. There's not really any elements of it which are scary. There's definitely some tension that builds up. There's a couple good sort of gross scenes in it as well, but I think for the most part I found it really, really funny.
Yeah, really funny and really fun. Just go watch it. It's on Prime.
Yeah, I'd definitely recommend. If you had to give it a score out of 10, what would you give it?
Good 8.5 or an 8.
Yeah,
8 is good.
Yeah, that's solid. I'd give it probably the same.
What about the girl with the dragon tattoo? What score would you give it?
Yeah, probably like an 8.5 out of 10. Maybe I'd give Late Night with the Devil actually like a a 7 out of 10, and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo gets an 8.
You see, that's the problem with scores like this. They always, like, oh, if I give 9 to this, then I can't give 8 to this.
Yeah, Late Night with the Devil is not as good a film as Girl with the Dragon Tattoo at all.
It's a completely different film. It wasn't even trying to be like that, so it's unfair to compare it. But it's a movie, so I guess we need to have a metric to determine the value of it. But yeah, it's good. They're both good in different ways. Watch both of them if you haven't, and if you have, leave a comment on what you thought about them. All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
And shocking. You get out there, Mr. Midnight, and you knock him dead.